welcome to Paths. I am your host, J.L. Benjamin, and I am here with the actor, writer, director, Sean Anthony Baker. Oh my gosh. And the crowd goes wild. Simmer down, simmer down. How are you feeling today?
I'm wonderful. I'm blessed, man. Can't complain. How are you?
I am doing excellent.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I'm
What you
sitting
nervous
before
about?
a legend right now. I don't even know all my questions.
Did you say a legend right now?
Yes, and I'm forgetting all my
Who
questions.
paid you? Did they put a check in the mail?
Somebody help me. Somebody help me. Bring the lines back. Bring the lines back. No. But we're going to jump right back into it.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I know that you're a legend, and I'm so excited for the people of Paths to know you're a legend. Let's just start from the beginning, though. Like, where are you from? What's your story? What's your background?
Story and background. Okay. Well, listen. I am originally from. Where am I from? From New York. I got to think about it. Like I've been all over the place. I'm like, where have I last been? No, I'm from New York, Boogie Down Bronx in the house.
Okay.
Born and raised. My story starts there. You know, my story starts as a kid, just loving life, having great, loving parents who I'm grateful to have had them in my life. Just being introduced to everything from the arts, period.
Yeah.
It was a blessing because my father loved music, my mom loved music, but also loved the arts, and so it's one of those things that grew on me. As a kid, I was always singing and dancing, doing something. You know, when you got the parents that say, sing, do that song that you did in church the other day. Do that.
For all my friends.
Yeah, for all my right.
Every time I bring them around.
Every time, right. Which I thought was great. But then, so when I decided I wanted to do it professionally, my father was like, typical Caribbean parent, like, you can't do that. You can't do that. Singing and dancing, singing and acting ain't gonna give you can't find a job downtown doing that. I was like, really? But Pops, Yeah, but that's where it started. And just the love for acting, the love for music. And my mother took me to theater. I followed musical theater. I started in musical theater.
Okay.
And then my mother took me to musical theater. My father loved classic movies. And that's where I was introduced to Sidney Poitier. And yeah, so I had both worlds.
Merge,
It was, listen, it was kismet. It was a matter of time. I was just gonna catch up to it, and now I'm here.
What was the first play you ran? You were casted for?
Like as a child, even like professional play.
As a child. Very first one. Like your first line, how many lines did you have?
That's funny because I thought about that the other day. I was in middle school, a chorus line. No lines. No lines. It was just, but I had the top hat on with the sequins glitter vest and the whole Broadway thing. And I remember this lady, our teacher name was Miss Fusco, and she had all of us put on the thing. We was just doing the one singular sensation. I was like, yo, this is dope. But I loved it though. I loved the feeling of being on stage and just creating and being something that, because I'm not at home with a top hat and a sequin vest on. Maybe some people are, but I'm not. And I did that, and I was like, this is fun. And that was just music, and dancing. And then it kind of, then you do your Christmas plays, the classic.
Yeah.
You go ahead, play Joseph. And,
Joseph.
Yeah,
Baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus, all of that.
Easter.
So Easter, right? Do yeah. You know what I'm saying? You got to do recite your lines as a kid. Did that in church too. I think I played Jesus too, as a matter of fact. I played Jesus.
Okay.
On more than one occasion.
Okay.
What did I say?
Wow.
What did I say?
What did you say?
I don't know what that.
And God said. In the beginning.
Yeah. No, but I don't know, from that time, I loved being able to create and not understanding where that would take me now. But those things were kind of instilled in me, as a child and as a young adult. And then I'm going to say the first Broadway play that I did as a teenager in high school, maybe not the first, but I'm going to say the one that impacted me the most, if I may, was West Side Story. Right. And now think about it, what I just said. So I said West Side Story. Not a black person in that play. Not a black. You've got the whites that were the Jets, and then you had the Sharks that were at that time Puerto Rican, right? So there were no black people in that play. But at the time when my high school was doing it, this I never forget, it was Mr. Phil, and he said, and I auditioned because I wanted to continue doing it. He was the head of the theater department at the time, and he said, and I auditioned. And he said, okay, we want you to play Riff. Now Riff was the leader of the Jets. Riff was the leader of the White Boys. You follow? So I said to Mr. Philp, I said, Mr. Philp, you know Riff was white.
You know I'm black.
You know I'm black. And I know, I said, you know I'm black,
You know,
right? And he was like, he said, you are? He was funny. He was a funny guy. But he said, listen, but then he said to me, if you get up there, you do your job, you do what you're supposed to do, just be the character, it's not gonna matter. They're gonna forget all about that. And sure enough, when I did it, it was just like, for me, it was like the lens was lifted off. I said, I can be anything. I can do this. I can create. I loved it. I loved it. So from that moment on, it was a journey.
From that moment on, how did you continue to hone in on your craft? Like, what did your study habits consist of? What were you doing? Because I understand you were just in high school.
But at that point, yeah. Honestly, it was continuing to be a part of the theater program that they had, because it wasn't a true arts high school. I wanted to go to a true arts high school.
Gotcha.
Didn't get a chance to do that. Why? Because my same hardcore, stern Caribbean parents were like, no, stick to your books. But I was grateful that they had that. And so once I got enrolled into that program, I just kept working. And I was saying I'm working with these directors at the time who were also teachers, but they studied Broadway plays.
Gotcha.
So that literally enhanced a lot of my understanding as to what to expect and do. And then going from there, okay, went to college and did a couple of plays here and there. It was literally studying, paying attention to not just watching movies to be entertained, but why are particular actors that I favored that I liked making these choices.
Yeah.
Why that? What made them? What were they feeling? What were they doing at that point in time? What took them? What was going through their mind to make them want to, put the glass down and say the line the way they did, or pick the glass up and do the line? It's always a study, and I study people and study life. That's the best teacher.
What's the place you go to study people, like to people watch? I know I like to sit in the park and people watch, but really in traffic, I get the most people watching done. Where do you
Especially in Atlanta.
I know. I'm looking at the road, I promise, but I'm looking at other people pass. Right. So, like, where do you go to really find that inspo?
I'll be honest with you. I don't go any particular place. I'm just being aware. I think if you try your best to be cognizant of what's happening in life, period. Like a lot of times, we handle business, we do things, we're in our phones. Everybody's kind of. But if you just take a moment and you look up and you look around and see what's going on around you, it's teaching you every day. I can be in a mall, sitting down, having lunch, doing shopping and walking. I'm seeing a mother interact with her child, or a father interact with his son, or just a couple interacting. It is always showing you. Life is always teaching you. Not to get all deep, but that's just the realist. Like I said, I don't have to be any particular place. I may go someplace to get quiet if I needed to, and just kind of reflect, or if I needed to reset personally. But in terms of experiencing life, that's all around us.
Every day.
Even right now.
I know, because I'm over here looking at you, and I'm also gravitating to this crystal on your neck, and I'm like just curious, what's the story? And I see your beads. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious about the choice and what they mean.
I also absolutely. This is a part of my journey, my spiritual journey, and also what I've been learning and taking in terms of digging further back into, as a people, our past, our ancestry, what it is that we did prior to religion, right? Because we didn't, as a people, we didn't grow up Pentecostal, Baptist. I grew up Methodist, but I'm talking about when you go back to our ancestors, there was no Pentecostal, Baptist, Kojic, and this is not a knock to any religion. It's just that we didn't have that. What we had was our ancestors. What we had was the teaching of what God and the earth, and these are things that naturally come from the earth. These are crystals and stones that are conduits, if you will, of particular life behaviors that we have. Whether you're trying to strengthen your balance, whether you're trying to strengthen your perseverance, your courage, encouragement, are just crystals and stones for healing. So a lot of that has been taught to me, and I've been on my journey with the minister Darrell Dawson, and he has a shop. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in. It's a holistic, shameless plug. No, but no shame at all. No shame. It's completely blessing. It's a holistic shop located in Covington, Georgia, called Ashe. And so so a lot of that. So a lot of times you'll see me, and listen. Back in the day, I love rocking my jewels, my gold and my whatever, your silver, and I still do from time to time. But this means more to me in terms of where I'm at and where I'm going, especially in this business. If we're tying it back to, what we do and why we're doing it, you have to be grounded. You have to be, mentally prepared, because there's a lot that goes on that'll shift you.
Yeah, and if you don't know who you are, people will turn you into whoever you are.
Whoever
they want you to be. Yeah. And I imagine that even being an actor, right? You're playing all these different roles, but if you're not able to go home and be you and figure out not your role, but like who you are.
Right.
So what grounds you? What kind of activities do you do to make sure you stay grounded? Is it spending time with family? Is it, I don't know, visiting your old neighborhoods, old stumping ground? Like what do you do?
I think honestly it's a combination of those things. It's definitely family and friends, and who I call my tribe. Especially 100%. That keeps me grounded. What keeps me grounded is my, always kind of going back to my why. What am I doing this for? A lot of people get into this business for different reasons, and there's no knock to them, because whatever inspires you. But what's your why? And a lot of my why is it's a combination of what I've lost, and understand that I have a purpose and a destiny, and like, what do I got to do to get to that? How do I have to be to get to that? How balanced do I need to have myself? How structured do I need to have myself? How disciplined do I need to have myself in order to get to that goal? Yeah. So, and then of course, when I can spend time with my friends and family, I do that. You have to, because they help you ground you. They can, I'll go over and get on my friends, and they don't care. Like, I know you was on TV. I don't give a. You can get your own burger.
You call you a childhood nickname, and you like, dang.
They're like, damn, Black.
Is that your childhood nickname?
One of them. One of them. That's a Bronx one. But yeah, they're like, yo, Black. We know you're doing this, so we're proud of you. Go pass me a drink.
Hop on up.
Yeah. So but that definitely helps to keep things grounded. And just being aware of yourself. Find what makes you happy outside of outside of this. Like this, absolutely, obviously makes us happy as artists, as actors. We want to, be able to create. Yeah. Go on set every day, and and that's great. It's great for get your little check and keep it moving. But honestly, find out what makes you happy. What is that? Even if it's still in the realm of creativity, but what makes you happy? Yeah. Outside of that, because if you don't get the gig, if you don't book it, right? Then what? Is your life over?
Let's talk about it. Ooh. What does the word no do for you? How does that change or not change, or cause you to be more ambitious or not?
It motivates me.
It motivates you.
You can tell me no all day. It's fine. I'll find another way. That's the hustle. You know what I'm saying? That's the grind. You can tell me no. That's fine. Because here's the thing. Your no is just it's not rejection. It's a redirection. Yeah. So you can tell me no. All right, well, I'm not for you. Maybe not now, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep going. I'm not gonna stop because you told me no, and I'm gonna keep it 100. Like, listen, after a while, we are in the business where you get more no's than yes. Amen. Amen. More no's than yes, right? But that goes back to what makes you happy and what drives you and what pushes you. Yeah. So if you're thin-skinned in this, and you're like, your goal is I'm gonna get out here and shine and do whatever, then you're gonna get hurt real quick and a lot, So, but those no's put a fire in me. Yeah. It inspires me to do, to go above and beyond for myself and do more.
Typically, the people we see that excel in the industry, right? People who are not in the industry will be like, oh, everything just happens for this person. This person always gets it. This person always X, Y, and Z. And so transitioning into an industry where, no had to become a regular, or it may have become a regular thing. Yeah. Dealing with rejection may become a regular thing. What advice would you give to someone who is watching the Path show right now, and they're probably on their fifth no? Like, what would you directly say to them? Like, seriously.
I mean, if they're on their fifth no, I'll say get ready, prepare yourself for the sixth. If I'm gonna keep it all the way 100, like, prepare yourself for the sixth. And probably the seventh, and maybe listen, it's just gonna keep going. But that's part of the message. My message initially would be is to keep going. If this is what you do, if this is what you want to do, and I've said this a lot in places that I've, when I go to talk to people, if I've coached or anything, make your passion your purpose. If this is not your passion, then don't do it. Do anything you do. That's not just the acting world, but do it with passion or don't do it at all. Because what you have to find is the will to keep going. Once a director tells you no, once a casting tells you no, once to say, how about this? How about you book the gig? And then it go left, and it's like, we went another way.
You done told everybody, Mama, I got this gig.
And I learned that lesson quick. I don't tell nobody nothing. I just listen. Sometimes I don't even look. I know we gotta push ourselves as a brand and social media, but most times, I should say, you'll see it when I pop up. I'm gonna come on, and I'll say, hey, tune in tonight. I'm talking about, and that's it, and so and so, and you'll see it. But yeah, you have to. Listen. What we do is definitely a lot of glamour involved. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. Think about it. You make a living being somebody else, pretending to be somebody else, being, creating a whole other character, a whole other world, and then it's up there for the world to see. It's a beautiful thing. It's awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
But that's what they see, and they don't see the work behind it. They don't see, like you said, the rejections, the no's, the constant auditions, the work. This work that goes into this. Yeah. And then we give of ourselves. If you're truly, truly digging in and you're learning all the techniques, whether it's Meisner, Chubbuck, I don't care what you do, we're always giving a piece of ourselves in whatever we do. And so there's not a character that I've played that I had to go back to, like you said, you're studying people, I study myself. And I gotta find out what makes me work. Then I have to find out what links me to whatever role I'm playing, because I need to make it real. Because if I don't believe it, then you're not gonna believe it.
Yeah.
I don't care whether I'm playing a musician, an inmate, a pastor. I don't care what it is. If I can't find a way to tie into what's going on with this person, because I've lived life and I love life and I understand life and I accept the no's and what does it feel like to be rejected. I can't play a role that's been, in the scene where they've been rejected or hurt, and I ain't never understood or acknowledged what it is to be hurt or rejected.
Wow.
How do I make that real? So you turn those no's and let that inspire you. And then when you got to do a role, should you get to that point and you got to play a role where this person gets rejected for a scene, for a job or even a relationship.
You can tap
What does that feel like? Yeah. Because I didn't get that last.
You can channel it.
That's life.
So is it easier or harder to play roles in which you relate to?
Roles you can relate to, you have fun because it's like that's in your bag, so like you can pull from memories and some situations that they're like, I know what this is like because I just did that 2 years ago, a couple years ago.
So where do you go in terms to learn those actor techniques? And are there any techniques that you would recommend or you'll say have really changed your career or been like a super game changer for you?
I don't know if there's no one in particular. I honestly would just say you study them all.
Yeah.
Because there's no one in particular that's going to work right for anybody.
Yeah.
Because everybody's different. Like I've talked to so many different of my, fellow actors and he'll say this, she'll say that. Like it's what you got to find out. Again, this goes back to finding out who you are.
Yeah.
Centering self. Once you know who you are, you'll be able to find out what works for you. Because I can say, try Meisner. Or and they're all dope, but it's like you got to know what applies.
Yeah.
There's a saying that I have is like, you chew the meat, spit out the bone. I can take advice from a lot of different people, right? If I have my core 5 people or core whoever, I say, okay, I got to go ahead and have counsel.
Yeah.
But everybody might give, out of those 5, they might give a lot of different different points of view, right? Perspective. I got to chew the meat, spit out the bone. Same thing with what you do. But now, what I will say is you definitely take classes. That's the first thing. People are like, oh man, I want to get into this acting thing. Got you. This acting thing. Got you. Well, the first thing you do, ma'am, sir, take a class. Take classes. And you'll find out if it's right for you.
Which ones do you recommend? So if somebody is watching Paths right now, they're at home, they're on break, what's a actual class that you say, hey, I recommend this class?
Take them all. Do your research and find out what works. I'm so serious. Like I can't sit here because I'm not going to sit here and go take this class, take that class. Take the classes, read the books, do the research.
Yeah.
A lot of times, let me tell you something. A lot of times people want you to just hand them over the opportunity, right? Or
Yeah.
just give me the answers.
Yeah.
I can't give you the answers. I had to find the answers out for myself.
Yeah.
I had to research. Especially now is the time where you can find whatever you need. You Google it, YouTube it.
Google it.
You want to know how to put together a cabinet? Google it. You know what I'm saying? You want to know, so everything is out there. The information is out there. There's so much reading material. There's so much workshops. There's so much books. If you want it, if you want to know, how I got to fix this wig or this weave, how I got to put this, how do I change? Look it up. How bad do you want it? Yeah. For me, it always goes back to that. because you find a way. If heads will find a way to make it online and stand in line for umpteen hours to go pick up a pair of the newest J's or whatever, you will find a way. If that's what you want, so find a way.
Yeah.
Research it. I can't sit there. Okay, I honestly can't sit there and say this class is the best or this way is the best. You've got to find out what works. I had to go through so many different workshops and classes and coaches just to understand what works for me.
So putting on my student hat, right? We got you at these old school desks, and I'm just sitting here listening to a guru right now. Right.
I'm still learning.
I am listening to another legend. So, question: if I am a high school student or just a college student, and I really just don't know where to start, right? It's overwhelming. There's so many resources out there. I need to, avoid scams, but I'm also trying to make sure I get connected with the right people.
Yes.
Where do I go? How do I start?
So you do start. There are particular places online that are reputable that will guide you in the right direction. And 3 at the top, which was mentioned before, is you go to your IMDb. IMDb page is basically it lists everything from what projects that are going on, actors that are involved. They'll give you resources in terms of what to study. What to research in terms of acting classes, coaches. Actors Access is another one. Actors Access is something that's not only reputable, but it's being used by management as well as agencies currently.
Right.
And again, it's another way to look into see what auditions are coming down the pipeline. But also, it will list, coaches, acting classes. Again, Google, just Googling. Depending on where you are, what state you're in, you can, of course, that'll vary. But again, I always say you can always reference back to there's the last one I wanted to mention was SAG, and for those that are definitely getting into it, of course, those with their parents' consent. You look up SAG, which is Screen Actors Guild Association, and you'll go ahead and they'll list not only agencies, not only managers that are within that realm, but they'll also list again current and local acting classes, workshops even that are coming out as well. That's where you start. You start, and of course, when you're gonna get a lot of different companies, different people as well that say, oh, I do this, I do that. They might have done one show, and all of a sudden they're teaching, they're the go-to on how to book, and you have to be careful. Again, especially with the young kids that are getting into it for the first time. Definitely make your parents or guardians aware of what you're trying to do, but doing the research on who's teaching the class. And what is it? What's the goal? What's the goal for that you want as a new student? What you're trying to learn? Definitely research the workshops. Who's involved, who's hosting it, who's teaching, the coaches that are involved. It's always good to, and again, that's why I say go to class to get involved in those acting classes, because then you'll get more information from other actors that are saying, hey, I'm working with so and so. I was taught by this coach, or this actor. But the research is key. But those areas, SAG, IMDb, Actors Access, those I would say those main points. And of course, Google will show you a lot more.
Yeah. Who are those actors or influencers that you really researched and looked at? Hey, they went to this class, so I'm trying to position myself in this class. I'm trying to get exposure.
Or learn from their technique.
Or learn from their technique. Who would you say at least like 2 people are that you were like, yep. I like how they do that on screen, and I want to be able to do that.
I'm going to go old school and say Sidney Poitier. Sidney Poitier, for those that are, he was one of the first male black actor to receive Oscar, and but he was a trendsetter. It was time before, of course, he's the ones that Denzels of today, or Denzel and others that are following Denzel, pretty much are chasing after, if you will. He's been a prototype. Ruby Dee.
Come on now.
She's powerhouse of an artist. Oh man, so many. So many different ones that I've studied. I love Meryl Streep for her depth. Viola Davis. Have mercy. There's so many. There's so many. even studying them, I mean, obviously I don't have all the access that they've had, but I can look at, again, studying what they've done, and maybe when I go to a class, I can say I'm trying to find my way with getting this far into my work. How do I get this deep? Or how do I go? How do I get there? And that might be where you study, specifically, okay, this is where Meisner comes in, this is where Chebet comes in, this is where you'll take particular techniques and make them your own and see what works. But again, it's up to see what works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if one of our path viewers is looking you up right now, what classes, right, if they're Googling you right now and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to go exactly where Sean Anthony Baker has went, what will they find? What classes do you feel like they will find?
I studied with, I know what they will more than likely see is I studied with Mariska Phillips, who's out of New York. She studied, of course, she was also under Susan Bass out of New York. Everybody knows her. I've studied in Atlanta, Dwayne Boyd. I studied with him. Lord, I don't know. It's on there somewhere. But and I've also taken individual acting courses and coaching with Angela Gibbs. She's out of LA, and you'll see that. That coupled with it's not. That's why I said it's never one place or one thing.
No, I love it.
It's just that you have to find what works and how you get attached to these people, and can they speak to you as an artist? Can they speak to what it is that you're trying to? Then you got to find yourself and say, well, what is it that I'm trying to do? What kind of actor am I going to be? Am I what lane am I in when it comes to being that actor, being that artist? Where do I fit? Am I comedic? Am I drama? Am I, you find that, or you that dope that you could do all of it.
All of it. You're like, put me in the game, coach.
Put me in the game, coach. I'll just throw the ball. I got it.
So what does self-care look like? I mean, you mentioned somewhere in the South, studying in the South, in New York, in LA. Mm-hmm. I'm sure all that travel. Like, how do you take me time? Like, what does me time look like?
Travel. If you can.
Get right back on the plane.
Get right back on the plane. but with a different agenda, a different purpose, right? Not because I'm going to work, but because I'm going to literally relax. Self-care looks like that. Self-care looks like, I'm going to mention this, self-care looks like mental health care. Yeah. Self-care looks like taking care of yourself mentally as well. Getting help and speaking to someone. If you've gone through trauma in your life.
Therapy? Do I hear therapy? No.
Absolute therapy.
Yes!
Absolutely.
I was like, do I hear therapy?
100%.
They say that's the stereotype. Black men don't go to therapy.
Well, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem as to why we skating uphill right now, fighting uphill battles right now, because for years we've been put in a place where, we've been put in a place, I'm going to say that. We've been put in a place where we've had to fight these things, and we've been told as black women and black men to just be strong. And we can be strong. We were born strong. But when we take a minute to say, and you know what? I want to take this armor off right now because it hurts and it's heavy and I need a break and I need to talk to somebody because, again, what was your life like? Yeah. Things that we don't take into account. It was a shooting last week. It was down the block. All right, keep it moving. No, there was a shooting last week. Somebody got shot. Somebody died on your block. So somebody passed away in your family. You as a kid, you're walking on crack vials. Like I grew up in that era where it was like, okay, red top, blue top, keep moving. You got to understand what that does to, especially us that grew up, and those of us that grew up in, in those areas, in the cities, or what have you. That plays a part. Yeah. And we're not even talking about what we got to do on a regular basis in terms of what we had to do with education, and what we got to do with our lives, and how that affects our relationships, how that affects our home environment. So we need, and I say we, all of us, we need it. That's why it's too taboo, man. We need help. We need therapy. So that's part of self-care. Yeah. Part of self-care is that. Yes, go on to vacations. Yes, take time for yourself. Do a staycation, if you will. Honestly.
Do it in your neighborhood.
Do the things that make it fun for you. But get the help. Get the help and do the mental health care.
Yeah. No, I'm thankful for your vulnerability and sharing that.
Always.
Because most people will not say that.
Listen, I've been through traumatic stuff in my life, and I've had losses in my life that I deal with still on a daily basis. But I can't keep muscling up and I got to get through it. I'm going to do that anyway. But when do I take a time to address what's happening or address what I lost, or what I dealt with? I had parents that I lost at an age where I was like back to back, and losses in between that. So there's things that for me that I've dealt with in terms of death, in terms of loss. Well, I can't keep carrying that by myself. And so for those that are going through that, for those, teenagers and young adults that have witnessed things that they should not have witnessed at such a young age, or experienced loss at such a young age, it is good to talk to someone. And outside of church, outside of teacher, ask for help. I want to talk to a counselor. I want to talk to because we need that. That's how we can move forward and know not to make the same mistakes that we made before, or that our parents have made, or those before us have made. We got to move different.
Yeah.
The mental is very, very serious. I'm glad that you asked that question.
No problem. So physical. What's the workout schedule? What's the day-to-day for Sean Anthony Baker?
Oh, Lord.
What time we getting up?
I'm so surprised you asked that, but I'm glad you did. I need people to understand. I get up. My day starts at 4 a.m. Okay, I'm up at 4. Okay, so I work with. She's like 4. What you mean 4? 4.
I sleep at 4.
4. I know. I used to be asleep too. But you still dreaming. 4. So, but for me, it's because of the schedule that I've kind of cultivated with the guys that I work out with. Some of these guys are they're ex-Navy, Army. They're crazy. They're crazy. But one of my people is Jeff from Bass Bros Productions, who I work with on other projects. We'll probably get to that later. But he's one of the people that I get up with in the morning, and we get up. We start the day at 4:30.
Yeah.
We're up, rolling, and we're doing everything from doing course training to. I'm not trying to lift weights. I'm trying to come down. I used to be much bigger. Yeah. I'm not trying to walk through. I ain't trying to be cast as the bodyguard everywhere. Like I don't need that.
Not at all.
I want to fit suits that fit nice. You know what I'm saying? Get a little cut to it. But I'm dropping. But I get up at 4:30, and I'm working out for at least an hour or two, and that starts my day. And it's crazy because it's like 4:30. But you think about it. If that's the first thing you accomplish, aside from getting up, saying your affirmation, saying your prayers, right? Making your bed if you get a chance to make it. But if that's the first thing you accomplish for the day, and it's done, the earliest part of the rest of the day is yours. But that's the one thing that you accomplished first for the day.
For you. I love it.
So that's every day. That's every day now.
So we talked about where you're from, right? What grounds you, your mental, spiritual, physical health. So I'm curious, let's get into what you do, right? Like what is a day in a life for you on set as an actor? And then I'm also curious, what is a day in a life on set for you as a director or as a writer?
Ooh.
Like literally, Apple TV swagger. I didn't want to drop all the stuff, you know what I'm saying? Queen of the South. I didn't want to run down the bio. I know it's in the comments, you know what I'm saying? But the people want to know, what's the gag? How did these opportunities happen? Was it you knew somebody, the back door, somebody opened the door, was like, hey, I think my boy Sean, you wasn't even in the room, your name was, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, first of all, that was a lot to download. You just see, I
got so excited.
I know, but I felt it though. I felt that. I was
this the juice.
How you, so let me know everything.
I'm at the tip of the desk.
All right, so let me.
I'm at the tip of the desk, Sean.
Let me go back to, I think, the beginning of what you said. So, on a day on set, let's say just in terms of working, a day on set, get up early. See what I did there? Because I get up early every day, right? 4:30, so my body is used to but you got, whatever your call time is, get up earlier. Get yourself ready. So you set the tone for your day. Yeah. Don't get up if you can't help it. I know that we have those days. Alarm goes off. I done hit the snooze button like 2 or 3 times. But if you can't set your day, get up early. Hopefully the night before you've prepped and going over what you need to do for the upcoming day. You're prepared for whether you're getting picked up or you got to drive to set, whatever it may be. Set the tone for your day. Go, go over your lines, go over your script. Hopefully, if you have a scene made, depending on what your scene is, communicate with them if you can.
Yeah.
Some people like to kind of zone out and be alone. But if they're open to it, work with them. Again, go back to centering your day. What do you start with? You start with your affirmations, and then I get to set, and then all right, what I do, I'll go to set, I'll burn my sage, I got my incense burning, I hit my music. Sometimes I'll play music. I want to get it rocking. Like my whole. Sometimes peers come to my joint, they're like, you good? I said, what's up? What time I need? What we got? What time? How much time I got? Oh no, I'm just cool. I'm just listening to the music and smelling the incense. They'll just come around and just be listening. Like especially when I was on swag, and they were like. My trailers, I like to set the mood. And so, but do that. I think for me it's that, and then, of course, going over whatever scenes I gotta go over. Again, I will say this, when you get to that point, when you get on set, just make sure that you're respectful of everybody that's there.
Yeah.
I'm always acknowledge the people that are in the room, that are behind the camera, everybody's there working to help this thing move. And I just always make sure that I connect with the people that I'm working with. I don't care whether you're grip, crew, everything, sound, I get to know, a lot of times I'll get to know names and I'll be like, hey, I'm remembering, as I'm going, because especially if you're working on a project for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think it makes a difference. Everybody here is working together. So that's part of my day, is on set, just being in the moment. Being open to learning the new things that's happening within the scene, connecting with the director, connecting with the other actors. I pay attention a lot to the technical stuff, like what's happening with camera A and camera B, and what lens they're switching out to, and I'm looking at the lighting. Now, mind you, I may never perfect those things, but I have an understanding of why the lighting, the sound, everything works for me, and I have to work in conjunction with that.
Yeah.
I think those things make you a better artist, a better actor. Just like in theater, people will say, oh, they did crew first, because they understand you have respect for what every department does. Yeah. So I just pay attention. I just watch and pay attention to everything, and I take it all in. A regular day, again, getting up at 4:30 and working out, but then of course tending to kind of lending to the other part of what you said, which is the projects that I may work on, and as a writer director, I may have to carve that time out. I have to carve the time out of my week, my day to day, to address whatever projects are coming up. Writing, I've been getting into that more. Again, working with other writers, because something I'm just perfecting. Sometimes I have an idea and I'll just put it out there, and I'll be like, well, I'm gonna sketch it out, I'm gonna brainstorm it, then I'll get with somebody, but I love to sometimes just write it out. You have an idea for anything creative, write it out. Don't keep it to yourself. Just jot it down. It don't have to be structured. You can look up the structure, you can look up how to format that later, but get it out. Get it out your system. One of my artists that I work with, he said, I gotta throw it up, get it all out your system, and then you'll structure it later. But let that creativity flow.
Yeah.
For projects that I had to direct or produce, again, I just kind of get in line with what works for me in terms of the structure, in terms of what's needed for that day and what's needed for the project. This time, just things I'm working on where I may be the producer, or maybe I'm a co-writer, I'm a co-creator. It just depends on what's needed. But I'm glad to do all of it because it's all creative.
Yeah.
Yay! I'll say that again. I'm grateful to be an artist that's able to create. And one of those things that I like, one of my mottos is don't wait, create.
Don't wait, create.
Don't wait, create.
Oh, you ahead of me, because we usually do path, tweetable, quotables.
Oh, okay, so I'll bring that back.
So I need you to look at the camera.
Which camera you want?
Right here, we right here with it.
Don't wait, create. Like I said before, if you have something that's in your system, on your heart, in your mind, and you want to get it out, get it out. Write it down, shoot it. You got iPhones, you got Samsungs. I know your iPhone users don't like no Samsung. But do what you do, but it doesn't matter. Get it out. Spoken word, poetry, acting, writing, I don't care what it is. Get it out. Don't wait, create.
Wow. Boom.
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 This is not a boom contest.
Oh yeah, it could be though.
Gosh, man, you're too good. I was looking around, like, where is
he going?
I'm gonna boom next.
I'll go where boom needs to go. Yeah, but that's the day to day, and yeah, just love creating, love being an artist, love creating, and do it if you love it.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that's a perfect segue to end this show, right? Because I don't need them to wait any more minutes or time.
Don't wait anymore.
They don't need to wait anymore.
Don't wait anymore. No, you don't.
They need to do it now.
There's a lot of projects that are out there that people have been able to it's big now because they just started. I mean, off the top of my head, look at Issa Rae, and she just said, I'm not, I'm gonna create this, this awkward girl segment. I'm just gonna do it because she loved it.
Yeah.
And it spoke to her. And write and create what's true to you. Don't worry about what Tom, Dick, and Harry, Mary, Sue, and Jane is doing. Create what is good for you and what speaks to you. Be honest with yourself and be honest with that's also in the realm of acting, just make it honest, but also in the world of what you do as a creator. Be honest with yourself. Woo! Be honest. Create.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, Sean Anthony Baker. I feel like this is graduation.
I know, right?
I cannot say thank you enough for coming here on Paths and keeping it real with the viewers and the people. I know the students are going to be like, oh my gosh, he made it sound so easy. Go on Google.
Why not think of that before?
Why did you not think of YouTube?
I know, I didn't mean to be so blunt with it, but I'm like, but it's so real. It's so real. It's so real. We Google everything. I'm telling you, the answer's out there, but still do your research the way you need to.
Literally, I want to be an actor. Just talk to somebody. talk to people. Literally, consume yourself. Look at where they went and go there. Like, it's ABC.
Some of it is that simple. Some of it is, but I'm going to say this too. If I can put this part in, have the right people around you.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have the right people, not just the yes people, not the people that want to see you do good and see you do well, but the people that will also encourage you, that will push you. Yeah. The brothers and sisters that I know that I call tribe that I've worked with within this industry, I can say I love them. A lot to name, but I know who I've called on when I was making an inquiry about whether it be, I'm looking to make some changes in terms of, I don't know, it could be anything from your agency to your management, to, just inquiring about projects and so many other, again, like this. My peers are doing projects and I'm supporting them, and they'll support me. So have the right people around you that will encourage you, that will tell you, you can do this. They're not looking at your dream as some pipe dream that could never happen. Have the right people around you, your tribe, your circle.
I'm curious, now that you open that window.
Oh, well, the window's open. How you doing?
How do you go about those conversations when you want to change management or agencies to where it's like, it's all love, but it's like, hey, I kind of want to, explore working with this person. Is that how you do it, or?
Well, I will say this, and I can give a prime example.
Yeah.
I know I wasn't making a change. I was making an addition to at the time, but I already had an agent. But I'm looking for a manager, and I'll say this: I went out and I spoke to Terrell, and I said oddly enough, it was 3 people, including him, that I had already worked on projects with them prior to understanding who was managing and who was doing whatever.
Yeah.
Whether it was a movie, it was a show, we just pop up, and I'm like, well, I'm on all of these shows, but like, who I gotta, what I gotta do to advance? Because I'm like, I'm already working with Joe. Like, what's happening? But I will tell you that it is speaking to the right people, because the right people can say, hey, listen, oh yeah, they can, and you'll ask them, hey, how's your management? How's your agent? How's your whoever you've got working for? How's your representation? And speaking to those people, that if you know them, well, they give you a heads up as to whether or not, hey, listen, I rock with them. They do work. They're functioning. They're on point. I can look at their roster. You look at whoever it is. If it's SB management, look up SB management. Who's on their roster? Who looks like me? Do we have too many me's on there? That's important. Because if I got too many people that look like me, I'm like, well, I don't know where I'm going to fall. My talent might be different, but it's just something to take into consideration. Yeah. But talking to the right people helping. I remember talking specifically to T at that time, and I asked him, I said, how's that working? And he said, boom, boom, hey, listen, just, holler. I already know your name is already, what I'm saying? Because I already worked with him, and then I got a call from my man Donnie Carrington. I got a call from Ken Israel. So it was all confirmation. I was like, oh yeah, we've done. So it just worked out. So that's one example. You talk to the right people. Again, keeping the right people in your circle. And it's not an easy transition. I don't know about switching, but for yourself, you got to know what works when you're able to say, enough is enough. For those that are have been acting, and for those that say, "Listen, I'm ready to take it to the next level and make an additional step," when it's right for you. Because if you feel that your representation is not doing what they need to do for you, and not just babying you, I mean, you do the work. I still run like I ain't got nobody repping me. I still got to go out there and get it. And I'll be like, I'm not a headache with it, but I just know if I see something, I gotta address it. Yeah. But your mentality, I will never leave everything in somebody else's hands. Not my life, not my future, not mine. But I will see if you're running as hard as me, and if you're working as hard as me, and if you respect me as the artist that I know that I'm creating myself to be. And keep the right soul, keep the right people.
Gonna be on it. Oh my God. Y'all, there you have it on the Pab Show. We had Sean Anthony Baker, writer, actor, director, producer of all things. Okay? He really put a word on some of y'all out here.
Hopefully.
Okay, change it.
Put a basket up.
Wow, do it now. Thank you so much for joining us today, and
thank you.
Truly appreciative of it. I am your host, J.L. Benjamin, and we are so excited to connect with you again on the next one.
I love it when you